Music brother. You ready, Ian?
Let's go.
Kyle, you ready?
You know it.
Alright. I'm ready too. Let's do this.
We've been working round the clock. We ain't got the time to stop. We've been trying to find a spot just to chill, kind of feel like it gotta be the watch. Heroes don't wear capes, despite what you heard. We just regular people that risk our life when we serve. Bring some light when it's dark, give some sight when it's blurred. We lionesses and lions just trying to fight for the herd. We don't live like kings, don't get treated like queens. We just trying to survive while exceeding our means.
What up? It's your boy Chris Jordan.
And this is Ian coming at you. It's been a while, huh?
It's been
a little while.
It's been a while
Since we've recorded.
What's going on?
Not much. I think, what was it? Last time we met, just you and I, we were in a undisclosed location.
Yes.
And I know we got a lot of questions, a lot of hits about that episode, where it went. Maybe some people got to complete it, didn't get to complete it. Let's just say, we just to keep everything open and smooth sailing. Obviously, a lot of people know what we do for work. We want to be sensitive to that and make sure that everyone's happy, because ultimately what it's about, and people know my type of personality,
Mm-hmm.
But ultimately what it's about is to be able to create content and, try to have at least the least amount of obstacles.
Right.
I don't think that changes our direction or the type of person I am. However, it's just something that we had to do. So, anyways, again, welcome to another episode of The Watch Booth. I think this is episode 15?
15.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Could be. We may be wrong, but
it could be, too bad Kyle's not here to tell us how wrong we are.
Mm-hmm.
Just so we can tell him how wrong he is the following episode.
Right.
Shout out to our boy Kyle, who couldn't be with us today. So you're just going to get a nice dosage of Jordan and I.
Right.
Which I think it's healthy. It's a good diet. You know?
Yeah.
Yeah, we have a good time. But how are you doing today?
I'm good today. How about you?
I think I'm okay.
You think
So
you're okay today?
yeah. So since January, right? A lot of things have happened. I think this is the last time we recorded.
Mm-hmm.
So why don't you catch us to speed? If you have anything going on or that happened? I know you have a couple personal projects in the works. I don't know what you're open and discussing.
Yeah, I think I told you last time we were together that I was
in the now dismissed podcast.
Yeah. But you can listen to it if you want.
Oh, there you go. That's right.
You just can't see it.
You can't see it.
But no, I think I told you I was working on a project with my boy, and we've been getting together frequently and kind of banging out some songs and some ideas, and it's been going very well. So we got some things in the work with that. Still, obviously, No Capes campaign is still
Word up.
Still my thing, still my baby.
Yo, we're gonna need some new merch. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, we gotta drop that. And then on the, unrelated to kind of music, I've been just getting into more of the real estate side of things that I was, researching and working on for a while. So, and some promising things in the works with that. So,
Word up. Real estate is crazy right now.
Yeah. Real estate is the place to be. They say that the most self-made millionaires in the country are made off of real estate, and then most people who get money or are rich park their money into real estate.
Mm.
It's better to have your money sunk into assets than just sitting there. So
it's very true. Word up. And then excuse me for forgetting, but how about we just do a daily check-in? How are you doing personally?
I'm doing good. Personally, I'm doing good.
That's good.
It's been been a good little while. Haven't really had many funks.
I think I was like last time. I think we were both kind of like in a funk.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've been good, man. I've been just keeping busy.
Right.
Keeping busy, working on many things. And I think it keeps my mind off, idle thoughts,
Yeah. Right.
stuff like that. So, been good. How about you, personally?
So good personally. Things got crazy. I'm back at the other place, but
Did they?
whatever. But that's life. But no, personally, actually, I'm really in a good place. I've been trying to focus more on my health. So ever since I kind of prioritized that, I've been physically feeling better.
Yeah.
I haven't seen too much results yet, but slowly but surely. But I at least, and I remember this feeling. I mean, when I was, more active and more healthy, or was holding a more healthy lifestyle, how it felt. So I appreciate that at least. And then the family. So most recently, my wife and I stepped out to share the news about my daughter having autism. She was diagnosed with autism last summer. So I don't want to get too emotional or sentimental because I feel like, especially my wife and I, we've shared that moment plenty of times. So I'd rather just, be proud and embrace and celebrate the moment, about our daughter at least coming out with her having autism. She's such an amazing girl. She's so bright. And she continues to wow us all the time. She makes us laugh, cry, you name it. We love her to death. And that's why I'm sporting a little. So we did our first autism walk the other day. It's, if you can't see, it's a little ABC, a little infinity logo in there with also like a kind of like an abstract puzzle. And what's funny, I don't want to go on a tangent here, but
Go on a tangent.
so I designed this myself, but we end up going with another design for my daughter, which is just an infinity symbol. And I think a lot of people are aware of the puzzle piece that's used often with the the autism crowd. And no offense to the advocates of the puzzle piece. I think my wife and I had a conversation about it. There's another group of the autism community that feels more embraced by like the infinity symbol, which is more embracing of because autism is such a wide spectrum. So infinity symbol kind of embraces all types of autism and even other factions within that type of space. But me and my wife, we had a conversation. We felt like, and this is by no means, in offense or to offend anybody who loves a puzzle piece and dons a puzzle piece. It's to each their own. But we felt like the puzzle piece represents more specifically of one thing fitting into one other thing, right? Like when you're building a puzzle, that puzzle piece specifically only fits in to one place. And when I was talking to my wife about it, we just felt like obviously our daughter is different, but we don't want to make her feel like she can only fit in one place. We want to embrace her totally wherever she goes from here on out. So we just felt like personally the infinity symbol was something a little more appropriate, but I still have love for the puzzle, so I went with the abstract puzzle pieces that I feel like are a little more free form fitting into more environments, as opposed to like a specific puzzle piece that's only like plug and play to one thing. So that's that. But so we went on our first autism walk. What was great is we had our whole family come out and support our family, and that was huge to have our family support because it's such a big decision to make, and we were really nervous about it. We've you've known for a little while now, but it was something that we just kept reserved, and not because we were ashamed or anything, but it was just like, you know, it was one of those things. How do we embrace that appropriately? Because, you know, personally, I feel like autism it's never the same for every case, right? Every
Right.
type of autism is different. And I never wanted to be in a position where I'm like sharing my woes or, you know, our challenges with our daughter and not taking into account, you know, that there are tougher situations and challenges out there. You know, I never want to steal the spotlight or
Well,
kind of like, I don't know, like be insensitive. Does that make sense?
yeah.
It's like just
But
understanding everybody's struggle and fight isn't the same, though it's similar. And
right, right,
that's just something that I think we were trying to figure out. How can we respect that and also embrace who our daughter is?
right. Well, I mean, your challenges are your challenges,
Right.
and you have to be able to embrace that. And I think, you know, in the conversation that we had, you know, I told you, I think for me personally, the biggest thing is to just treat your daughter like there's nothing, you know what I mean? There's nothing different.
Right.
You know, I think that just as a society, and not even just in general with autism, but as a society, I think we tend to handicap kids as they're growing up by, you know, our reactions to things and our as like parents, right? The way we react to something is going to ultimately affect your kids, right? And so an example that has nothing to do with autism is, right, when you see a kid fall, a kid could fall and bust their ass, right?
Right.
Generally, what I've found is that when you make a big deal about it, the kid makes a big deal about it,
Right.
right? When you're like, "Oh my God, are you okay?" Oh,
Yeah, right.
then the kid's like, "Ah."
Yeah.
But if you just act like nothing happened, the majority of the time, the kid's gonna just get up
Just shrug it off.
like nothing happened.
Yeah.
Right. So, you know, in these instances, when you deal with kids with some type of or form of, you know, what would be a handicap, you just treat them like they're not handicapped at all.
Right.
And then they learn to grow like they have no limitations.
Right.
Because realistically, you know, the limitations that we set are always on ourselves. And if you live a life where your parents always set these limitations and always kind of put you in this box, right, which is kind of what you were talking about with the puzzle piece, then you put yourself in a box.
Right. And I think I remember, and I have to paraphrase. 'Cause I don't remember the word to word that you used. But you know, I talked about how like my daughter loves to sing. She'll hear something once and be able to recite it back randomly, but you know, she'll be able to sing it. And I remember you said something to the liking like, don't ever steal that joy from her, or don't like let her be who she is. Let her embrace that side of herself. As, you know, maybe as quirky or different as that is, that's a part of her. And that's the whole idea that you were trying to tell me, like, you know, embrace who she is, but don't treat her any different than you would do like my son or
Right.
anybody else.
Right.
Right. Because that's just who she is.
Right. And you have two kids.
Right.
So as they grow up, they'll both see if you're treating one of them differently.
Right.
You know what I mean? And you don't want your son to treat his sister like she has a handicap or like she has any limitations. She's just a regular kid, just like the rest, and she's gonna grow up like that, you know.
Right.
But yeah, don't put your struggles on a back burner to or not address it or not talk about it because you don't want to be insensitive. You know what I
Right.
mean?
Well-
You're gonna face your own
Right.
challenges, and your emotions are your emotions, and you're allowed to feel them.
Right. And that's what the, you know, us going out on that autism walk and, you know, us addressing it publicly. That was kind of like the idea, is that, you know, we want to start embracing it. We want to, you know, just, you know, I don't want to say accept, but just, you know, we understand who our daughter is and we love her for exactly who she is. And there's nothing to hide about that. There's nothing to feel ashamed about the diagnosis. I remember there was early on in the summer when we started, catching on to some of the symptoms. And we had the option because she was like on the cusp on several tests. So, they ultimately were like, well, if you go with this test, she's going to be diagnosed, like medically diagnosed, and that'll follow her. That's going to be like, that's on her medical records. And that was like really emotional for my wife and I because, it's a scary thing. We really didn't know much about autism, like directly, I think, we knew some just because, I'm in the medical field. She's slightly in the medical field, just been around children a lot. And, I think we were more scared than anything. 'Cause I think the diagnosis is a big, very scary thing for people to, because then that you have to like, kind of like definitely
Well, yeah, then it's
acknowledge,
real.
it,
Then it's
right?
real.
Like, yeah, that's real. And we are able to accept that moment because I mean, ultimately, at the end of the day, we want our daughter to have all the services and help
Right.
that
right.
she needs.
And that's kind of what I was gonna say after you said what you were just talking about is that the diagnosis follows, but also what comes with that is the ability to get services.
Right.
And the earlier that you can get services, the better off your kid's going to be at the end of the day. You know what I mean?
Right.
And so, like, for me, with my, we talked about this when you kind of told me, but with my oldest daughter, right? My daughter she'll be 18 and she's not autistic. She's borderline. She didn't hit all the markers.
Right.
Right. But at a certain point I decided, my daughter was a micro preemie. She was born 24 weeks gestation. She was 1 pound, 5 ounces. I mean, she almost died so many times. And I think that throughout the course of her life, as a family, we made the mistake of treating her differently. You used her, what she had been through, right, to not kind of hold her to a standard that she should have been held to. Every time that kind of something would go on, it's like, oh, well, she's been through so much, and oh, you know what I mean?
Yep.
And at a certain point, it was like, even with kind of like the help of my wife, who's a clinician, right, therapist, and she works in that field, and she's just like, listen, doing this is only handicapping her.
Right.
Because there's a lot of stuff that at almost 18, my daughter should be doing that she's not doing. But we took her to get a neuropsych eval, and that obviously is going to diagnose that kind of stuff.
Right.
And that was a big thing. And she has, it's called social pragmatic communication disorder. And it's a very similar, but I think for me, getting a diagnosis was scary. It was something that, I already knew there was something there. But also the thing I thought about was like, okay, but what services can I get her now with this? Right? What when it comes to school, she struggles in school.
Right.
Well, now I have this diagnosis.
Right.
And so when we go into her PPT meetings and they're drawing up her IEP, we get to say, no, look at this. It's here in black and white, and she needs these services.
Right.
And you're not going to not give her these services because of whatever reason. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
I think the earlier that you catch these kind of things, and the earlier that, regardless of, there's so many people that are autistic nowadays, like,
Right.
you know what I mean? It's not like, I think there's not that stigma. There shouldn't be that stigma that maybe there once was.
Right. And I think immediately when everything was hot and fresh, the first thing I did, and I don't know if anybody else can relate within the community, but like the first thing I did was look up famous people who are autistic, because I knew like a couple offhand.
They're all autistic.
Huh?
Every one of them.
And a lot of people are. So like personally, I knew like there was rumors of, and this is me being a soccer fan, a football geek, but I knew or heard rumors of Lionel Messi, who plays soccer. So for the longest, I thought of that. That was like my immediate thought, and then that made me think, oh well, who else is possibly autistic? And I started going through the names, and you see names that you're like, wow, these guys are, very accomplished in what they do. Would you have I have Tim Burton here, supposedly Emily Dickinson, supposedly Bill Gates, Albert Einstein, supposedly Steve Jobs, and some of these are confirmed, some of these aren't. I think they even said Elon Musk, Nikola Tesla, Jerry Seinfeld. I mean, there's so many names that you go look through, and it kind of gives you some kind of like, I don't know.
The spectrum is so vast.
It is, right.
You know
But
what
it
I'm
gives you
saying?
some hope because, like, just like you said, we discovered it early. We're hoping that the services can at least help her have the chance to being a high functioning,
Right. Right.
adult. So,
My wife has, I told you, my wife has a cousin who's autistic, and he's a young kid, and he's got aphasia with that, which is where he's not able to talk, he's not able to kind of verbalize things,
right.
but his mom is so diligent, or his parents are so diligent and have been since since they got the diagnosis, and getting him services and getting him that literally talking is probably the only thing he can't do.
Right.
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 He can do everything else for himself. He's, independent, and it's like there really is no limitations. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's just embracing it. That's it.
And what's funny is to kind of tie it back into what we do, or like what we like talk about often. But she's like a little superhero in herself, because she has just like these talents that are just like, I guess somewhat like surprising for someone her age. Like she's able to read words like at a high level. Like she can read from a book. It's weird. Like if we have lettering on our T-shirt, she'll always read it. So, that's something that's that took us by surprise that she started, and she'll be like 3 in the summer. So she's still pretty young. And then like just her memory recall, kind of like what I was telling you about the songs. Her just memory recall of things. She meets someone once, or she hears something once, she sees something once, and she's just able to recall it. So it's an amazing thing. And that's why like I didn't want to make it too sentimental, because I'm happy. It's obviously it's challenging. It's definitely challenging with our daughter, but me and my wife are so in love with her. She excites us, and we're proud to be her parents. So that was something new that's happened since the last time we recorded, at least coming out publicly and,
Nice, yeah.
and embracing it. So yeah, man, it's a cool feeling.
Yeah, and I'm glad you you guys made the decision to do that.
Yeah,
it's important.
And like if there's I was thinking if there's any off chance that there's someone out there like me or like us who feel like, I don't know, they don't feel comfortable to come out, if it could fall on one person's set of ears, to make them feel more comfortable about it, because I totally understand, I totally get it, but and the community is inviting. That day we went on a walk, everyone was super inviting and supportive. And ultimately, I mean, like our family, our support group is so strong, from family to friends like you that reached out. You know what I mean? It's just I don't know. It's been a really really nice experience.
I'm glad.
Yeah.
Something that you said that I don't want to gloss over.
What's that? As you slurp
my coffee. You've been working out consistently, huh? My boy. Listen, remember, so for people who know me, especially at work, there's duties that we have to perform for the next shift, right? So when the next shift is coming on, the kitchen should be clean and, you know, kind of things like that, right?
Mm-hmm.
So on my shift, I'm the guy who gets up in the morning early
Yeah.
and make sure that the kitchen's straight, the trash is out, the firehouse is, you know, the gates are unlocked, the firehouse is open. And I generally wake up and I work out.
Right.
Right? That's what I do every morning. And my lieutenant
Right.
says all the time, oh, yeah, I'm getting up and working out. Oh, we're getting up in the morning.
What time y'all get up?
5.
Yeah. That's early.
I'm like a 5. But in his defense, he's on the engine, and sometimes, you know, they get their ass kicked, and then they, you know, he gets back from a call and he's just like, all right, I'm going to sleep.
Night sleep.
But you worked for him one night,
Yep.
and I remember getting up, and it took me like an extra 15 minutes to get up, so it was like 5:15, and generally Mike gets up with me.
Right.
And so I heard music. I think it was music. I heard something in the weight room.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, Mike must be in there already. And I got in there, and lo and behold, there you were.
That was the first day of my journey.
On the treadmill.
Yeah.
And you've been consistent, and that was a couple weeks ago.
Yeah. I could be more consistent. I think there's a couple days that I've missed here and there.
But that's
and you know, I've enjoyed the diet for certain specific days. But more or less, yeah, I've been on it. I've really been biking a lot. I got an exercise bike at home.
Mhm.
So I've been killing that. Trying to just, you know, keep active throughout the day. I think before it was easy for me to just sit and chill or be like stationary.
that's always the easiest thing
Yeah.
to do.
So, you know, I've been trying to be more active. I've been fasting, but always the guys on the shift are like, well, fasting is like for weight loss it may help, it may not. So
Don't listen to the guys on the shift.
well, to be honest, I fast just because naturally I'm not as hungry in the morning, though I know morning is a important meal for a lot of people. But I just like naturally, I don't know. I can skip breakfast easily and make it to lunch now.
If you can do that daily, and if you could do that 4 days a week,
Right.
and you go from 8 at night to noon
Yeah.
fasting,
Yeah.
you will 100% see the difference.
So, I mean, with that naturally comes with, because I've always been a believer of, because it's helped me in the past with counting calories. Just counting calories is just a nuisance. Like,
Right.
it's counting every single calorie
If
of
you
every
couple- if you-
ingredient. It's really annoying.
If you couple them together,
But
you'll
that's
see
what I've been
even-
doing. And so I've been, you know, keeping in mind how many calories I've been putting in. And that's been really helpful.
And if you're able to work out during that fasting period,
Yeah. So
Then
like
that
this
even-
morning
accelerates.
I got it in.
Listen,
It wasn't a long ride, but damn, I don't know what this chick's name on iFit, but she was putting me to work. I got the Fugazi Peloton because, you know, I didn't have Peloton money when it was popping, so I got the Nordic Track with the iFit membership, and they put me to work.
Yeah, listen.
And the only thing I can't do, what Peloton could do, is challenge my friends.
Right. That's all good.
Nah, I don't care.
How many of your friends actually got a Peloton?
I don't even,
Right.
I don't even know.
Right. Who cares?
I think Shane tells me all the time that he's gonna buy one that he never buys.
Yeah. So, you know, but I don't want to gloss over that. I'm proud of you.
I appreciate
Just
that.
listen, just putting in just even if you do it a couple of days a week and you feel like, oh, I could be more consistent, at least you're not
Yeah.
going the whole week with just sitting there.
That's been my proudest accomplishment. My days off, and like I know everyone's like, well, you need a rest day. Well, bitch, I ain't trying to. That's just not me. All right, I don't do rest days. If I have a rest day, it's because the day is just very inconvenient for me to work out. But no, I really have to thank DA. He's been super supportive. And kind of been like a motivator because, you know, we're trying to get into biking more often now, riding bikes to work, you've
Right.
seen.
Yep.
And I mostly have to thank OJ because this all happened because of OJ. And I think I told you the story, but so for a lot of people that know me, I'm hyper competitive. I can make anything competitive, just anything, anything you say. If I can twist it into a challenge, like if you're challenging me, I'll do it. I'll twist that situation. So what happened was I was watching the Masters in the back one day at work. OJ walks through and he's like, "Oh, look at this guy!" And I watch every single sport just about except hockey because hockey's whack. But anyways, so he came into the back and he's like, "Oh, look at this guy, man! He watched all these sports. And yeah, that sounds like OJ. He said, "Oh, look at this guy. He watches all these sports, but he don't play none." And I was like, "Oh, word!" I was like, "So that's how you feel?" I was like, "So you think just because I'm a little fat that I'm not athletic or that I don't used to play sports or anything like that?" I was like, "Yo," so I naturally took that to offense, and I told OJ, I was like, "Listen, man, I'm the most athletic fat person you might meet around here." I was like, "I'll put you to work." I was like, "Name the sport." So he's like, "No, what was I trying to explain or what I'm trying to say, blah, blah, blah." So I was like, "No, OJ, you know what? Give me 3 months." I was like, "Give me 3 months. I'm gonna get in better shape." I was like, "And you pick the sport, and I don't care what it is. You pick the sport. I'm gonna compete, and I'm gonna beat you. I'm gonna put you in the ground." Is what I said. But this, and I'm gonna give him the opportunity to change. But he chose football, and I'm assuming he didn't mean like football as in soccer. So he meant like American football, which I found odd because I feel like, I mean, I don't know OJ like that, but I've never seen him play a second of football.
Maybe he did when he was younger.
Maybe, you know what I mean? But like when I was,
So what are you guys gonna play a nice little game of
I think
receiver defender?
yeah, and I'm gonna fucking lock him down. People, was it OG's on the job? No, I think it was like the first or second year I was on the job, and they had a football sign up. Remember they had a football sign up sheets. And you were supposed to write your name and the position and I think your phone number, right? And nobody really knew me. It had to be like, I think our first year on.
Yeah.
I went up there and, I was in better shape now, but I was still pretty chubby. And I went up there, wrote my name, and wrote lockdown corner. And everybody naturally had a really good laugh about that. But yo, man, I have a little confidence in what I can do, my ability. So no, I just I can't wait for it. I thought OJ was gonna challenge me to like a sprint because he used to be a runner. I thought he was gonna challenge me to cycling because he bikes all the time. My man chose a sport that I'm familiar with. I don't know. I like my chances, but I gotta stay focused, and that's the story behind me just being motivated. Nice. It's just I have on my home screen, I have a reminder. It says, "OJ wants smoke. Show him." That's it. That's it. So.
Oh God.
So
well,
yeah.
Whatever it was, that's it's good.
Yeah, I was even thinking, I was like, he's going to challenge me to basketball because I've been whack at basketball lately, but. No, he chose. I don't know. We'll see how this goes. But speaking of basketball,
we'd be remiss if we didn't mention that the New Jersey
Nets. They sure did look like the New Jersey Nets.
Got swept.
Delicious
in the first round.
Delicious.
We talking about Kyrie
and KD.
Easy money sniper.
Yo.
Oh God.
Burner account KD.
I mean, they couldn't win one.
Cupcake.
They couldn't win one.
Cupcake and flat Earth. Guess it's not a good combo.
Yo, listen.
Yo, I saw something on Twitter and they're like, "Damn, Kyrie can't even go to Cancun and enjoy because he's got to be vaccinated."
Listen, my boy. They came in hot. They came into New York real hot. Real saucy.
Yeah. They had the audacity to talk about the Knicks.
Yeah, my thing is, you pick the Nets.
Right.
Okay, that's your choice.
Yeah.
But when you start coming out, you talking about all this, New Jersey Nets wasn't even the Brooklyn Nets. You're like an expansion franchise in New York. And you come in talking about the Knicks? The Knicks? The only New York basketball? Come on, bro.
There's only one professional basketball team in the city of New York, and it's the New York Knicks.
Listen, I would rather.
This year, I'll have to double check the record. You know what? Correct me if I'm wrong here, but the New York Knicks and the Brooklyn Nets won the same amount of playoff games this year. Correct that stat if I don't want to be wrong on that one, but
No, I think they won the same amount of playoff games.
yeah. So I go back to what I've said before. KD went to Golden State. KD can't win by himself, or he can't win with a team built around him. Right? He went to Golden State where a team was already built.
Right.
And he was just inserted as just another weapon. And Kyrie can't win by himself because he left Cleveland purposely. He left LeBron to go to Boston to have a team built around him to ultimately not have that work out, then to go to Brooklyn. And I'm sure people are going to create excuse after excuse with Kyrie where, well, he wasn't healthy the first year and he wasn't able to build a rapport. And then this year comes and, he doesn't get to play just about until near the end of the season when COVID restrictions are uplifted. He only played, but he got to play. And we know
he got to play when it counted.
And when he played, when he first started, my man looked like he didn't miss a day. Kyrie had an amazing stretch of games when he started playing.
He should have been well rested. He didn't even have an 82 game season.
Hey, listen, we know he's mentally rested supposedly.
He should have been well rested. He should have been in the gym the whole time, getting prepared for the moment they lifted the restrictions, and he should have came in and gone nuts. But what did he do?
And they had Harden. They had Harden there.
You know what's crazy? The fact that they got swept by the team that he was on.
Yeah.
That he left.
Yeah.
To go to Brooklyn.
Yeah. And you know what? I was watching the end trying to see if he was gonna go dap up Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown. I didn't get to see that. I don't know if it happened or not, but I know like they were contentious back when he was with Boston. So it's just interesting. I'm sure they love the moment to stick it to Kyrie.
Yeah, I love the moment. Listen,
and hold on, let me make it super clear right now.
I hate Boston.
I hate Boston. It broke my heart to even root for Boston a second in my life.
But if you got
but I knew the newfound villain in the Brooklyn Nets that loss was going to be much sweeter than Boston losing.
Right.
Because now guess what I'm going to do? Well, next series I don't know who they play. Their lineup to play is the Bucks if they win, or is it the Heat? I don't know. I don't care because now I'm going to be rooting for whatever team's playing the Celtics to sweep the Celtics. Because there's another team I don't believe in. I don't think they have what it takes to overcome the really good teams in the East when it really push comes to shove.
Now Boston can lose.
Yeah, now I'll be rooting against them.
But they could have won that one.
It worked out perfectly for me.
Yeah. Which one do you hate more? That's the question.
I hate them both. Yeah, I was.
But one is.
I'm horrible. I'm a horrible sports fan. So I was like, hey, remember the Dark Knight when the football scene and the whole football field like fell out underneath the players as they were playing, except Hines Ward, who was like at the end and looked back and the whole field was in the center of the earth.
Yeah, no.
I was like, if that happened, nice, cool, that happened. Both teams loses.
Yeah.
Yeah, but realistically, I'm happy to see Boston sweep. Yes. Out of all things, sweep the Nets. Oh, glorious. God, that was so delicious to watch. It was
glorious.
Oh, man. I don't think we'll ever reach a high like that as a Knicks fan ever again.
Unless the Knicks start winning something.
Which I don't know. I don't know.
They might. Listen, they might get...
What's the state of our franchise right now? You know what I mean?
Well, people from Utah are upset because...
Because we keep like knocking on that door.
Well, yeah, homeboy.
Hey, Donovan, what's good over there?
Homeboy went to go see Donovan with Julius Randle in the playoffs, and they were like up in arms about why would he do this?
Why? Because he's a player, and they have the freedom. And that's how you're supposed to do it. Because teams can't do it because it's illegal. You can't, you talk to players who are in contracts. So, send players.
I want Lillard.
I don't think it's gonna happen.
But
I think my man's stuck in Portland. Like, he's mentally stuck in Portland.
Nah, I don't think.
My man's in a mental prison. He's in an asylum there.
I don't think he's mentally stuck.
No, I don't think he's. I don't know. I've given up. He's 31 now, I think.
Listen, I
mean, Damian Lillard's Damian Lillard, and he had a down year this year. But even with that, obviously, I'll still take him. He's 31. He's going to turn 32 this summer. 32.
I know that they said Donovan Mitchell wants
a lot of money. Right? Is that what you were about to say?
Yeah.
Look at all this talks. Damian Lillard to the Lakers. Oh, brother. These Laker fans. Let me see. Donovan Mitchell, right? Is that series tied? The Jazz and the Grizzlies? I'm not going to lie. I don't know if anyone else does this, but I put a little sneaky bet on the Grizzlies winning the chip. It was just a good payout.
I think they're playing the Mavericks, right?
Are they?
Yeah, no. They're down 3-2.
Oh, they are playing the Mavs. Yeah, because the Mavs won last night, right?
Yeah.
They sure did. Damn, I didn't watch. Oh, no, he left the game early. Welp.
Who, Mitchell?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm trying to see.
Yeah, he left the game. Ooh. But he's 25. He's from New York. You know, we'll bring him home.
So, here's the crazy thing. This is the worst part about all this to me. I think me and Scotty were talking about this at one time. We could have had Donovan Mitchell in the draft.
Yes, right.
Do you know who we picked?
Let me see. He's been in the league since 2017. What happened in 2017? We drafted... Who did we draft?
Frank Ntilikina.
Oh no! I was like, it wasn't Porzingis. I was like, but it was another international, wasn't it?
Frank Ntilikina. Let me just make sure.
Are you looking it up?
Yep.
Let me see that. I'm just gonna look at the draft as a whole. That's brutal. Frank Ntilikina. Where is he right now in the NBA? I don't even care. I don't care.
I think he's on the Mavericks. He might be on the Mavericks.
Is he really? Oh yeah, because no. Do we trade him away for some?
Draft.
We might have.
Here we go.
Yo, that was the same.
Draft.
That was the same.
Markelle Fultz.
Markelle Fultz, yeah. Lonzo. So okay,
Jason
so we
Tatum,
picked
De'Aaron Fox.
We picked. The Knicks picked number 8. Number 8. So let's see some of the talents.
Donovan Mitchell. Frank Ntilikina at number 8.
Donovan Mitchell at 13. Bam Adebayo, which in 2017 we needed a power forward, right? Because Porzingis was already traded by then.
Nah, we had Porzingis. They were
in 2017.
Yeah, they were together for a while. Frank Ntilikina and Porzingis, they were on the same team.
Well, you have
look. We picked Frank Ntilikina at number 8.
Jared Allen. Oh man, OG.
Dennis Smith Jr.
Anunoby.
Dennis Smith Jr. went number 9, and then we traded for Dennis Smith Jr.
We did. Both of them flamed out.
Listen, all I'm saying is,
I'm not gonna lie. I had a little bit of hope for Dennis Smith Jr.
Donovan Mitchell went number 13. And you could have picked him, but
there's a lot of
that was the
good players. There's a lot of good players that we missed out on. I mean, obviously Donovan Mitchell, I think, is the biggest. I think the biggest name that we missed out on, but there's other players.
There's
Kyle Kuzma.
There's a ton of other players.
Justin Jackson, John Collins. God, we hate John Collins, right? Over at Atlanta.
Yeah.
Josh Hart. I mean, these are guys that are not great, but they perform above their like the ability of Frank Ntilikina, like what he gave us,
But
you know?
you're looking to trade or to sign Donovan Mitchell probably to some form of a max contract when you could have just traded.
And what are we gonna give up for that too? You know what I mean?
But Phil Jackson ruined the Knicks.
That was the Phil Jackson.
Fuck Phil
era,
Jackson.
right?
Fuck you.
Yeah. Yeah, you didn't really help the Knicks out, man.
Nah.
Thanks.
He was supposed to come back and be the savior,
He was, yeah.
the Zen.
Thanks for nothing.
Nothing.
Do you remember who we drafted in 2018?
I don't know, but we definitely had a top 10 pick. That's for sure.
Yeah, well, barely, but yeah. Well, I'll give you a hint. He's not on the team anymore.
Who did we draft in 2018? Was it international? Was it
No.
had to be-
He played with Kentucky.
Oh, Kevin Knox. Where did Kevin Knox go?
9.
Oh my God. Who was in
9.
that draft?
Let's see. Mikal Bridges, Shai Alexander, Michael Porter Jr., good old Grayson Allen. I mean, this
It's a weak draft class.
we did get Mitchell Robinson.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, this draft is kind of like hit or miss.
Who was 2019?
2019? Do I remember that? 2019?
Was that Obi? Or was that 2020?
No, Obi was 2019.
I like Obi.
I like Obi. I think if we would get rid... No, sorry. 2019 was RJ Barrett. Excuse me. How could we forget?
Yeah, how could we forget? You know what? He's a stud.
He is.
I'm not gonna lie. He's a stud.
Man, if
Especially
only...
this year.
And we can't... Like, I know a lot of people are like, oh, John Morant, if he was the Knicks, he was... Like, we had no chance of getting John Morant. Everybody knew John Morant was going number 2 right after Zion. Like, that was...
Right.
The Knicks were never... The only chance we had was the lottery, falling in the favor of the Knicks. It was never happening. We lost costs. But I like RJ Barrett. I think he has potential.
I like RJ. He showed this year that he's coming.
Right. So I'm happy with that. Yeah. All right. So let's start closing this out. We have a quick story for our hero of the day.
And now, it's time for our hero of the day. Brought to you by the good folks at the Watch Booth.
What's crazy? I told you. I was like, oh, this is gonna be a quick one, right? We'll keep it like a half hour. God, every time we just love to talk.
Yeah. Hey,
right.
Listen, it is what it is.
For our hero of the day, I want to recognize and forgive me because I have some older articles, but I want to catch up. But we have a local hero, and the owner of Bear's Smokehouse, located in New Haven, Jamie McDonald. And this story has been played out a little earlier, but he traveled to the border of Ukraine and made the refugees a ton of food, from stew to chocolate milk for the kids. So he was just saying, when I was watching the video, he's mentioning like he just felt heartbroken because he felt like what if that was my kids or my neighbors, to have something like that happen in your own country, and be affected to that point. It just brought him to a point where he wanted to be involved somehow. So he went and flew over and made some food for the refugees. And I think that's amazing ability, freedom to have. But it was an amazing thing overall. So, we always talk about having our local superheroes here, but even abroad, we're able to make change.
Nice.
So, again, shout out to Jamie McDonald, the CEO of Bear's Smokehouse Restaurants. I want to say there's a couple restaurants, but most notably for us, there's one in New Haven.
Mm-hmm.
So shout out to Jamie McDonald.
Word. That was dope.
Yeah, I loved it. It's crazy that it's still ongoing over there, and it's just, it's a tough time in the world, where people can't just seem to get along. And our next segment, we're going to jump into please and thank you.
Mm-hmm.
And our please and thank you today, we're going to be acknowledging the line of duty death that the FDNY had, I want to say a day or two ago. One of their firefighters at Klein, I think it's the last name. Sorry, let me have it here. FDNY experienced a line of duty death. The firefighter's name is Timothy Klein, 31 years old. So that hits home because I am 31 years old. 6 years on the department. It was said that he was critically injured during a collapse in a structure fire. So I think, obviously we send our condolences to the FDNY, the community, his family. We understand it's a tough time for FDNY. And I think, and it's crazy to kind of like use some perspective, but I think like I saw FDNY post something else, like their last line of duty death happened in like January or February of this year. So it's like a more common occurrence in FDNY just to so many people. It's a heartbreaking thing. Mm-hmm. So, yeah, like I said, shout out our condolences to everybody affected by that. So our please and thank you, naturally, kind of like last time when we experienced with Baltimore. If you can, I'm sure there's a lot of GoFundMes for the family. I'm sure they're going to do a public wake and funeral. So if any way you can be involved to help and assist and just show your love and support for the FDNY during this tough time. That would be our please and thank you.
Yeah, and pray for them.
Pray for them.
If you do that, pray for them.
Yeah, absolutely. So, how about this? Final thoughts. Final thoughts, Jordan. You have any before we break?
Yeah, feels good to be back.
Feels good, baby.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
Hopefully we can, keep up the...
make this a more consistent occurrence.
We have to.
Yeah, we have no choice.
Yeah. Hey, listen, even if we have to, go remote, shoot, we'll have to go remote.
Yeah.
But we're excited to bring some extra content. We want to start bringing some guests back on to the pod.
Mm-hmm.
So, just stay in tune with what we have coming up next. What's our time look like? How long have we been recording?
I don't know, like an hour and some change.
Oh, brah, we're brutal. All right. Well, on that note, guys, you know where to find us. You can find us on YouTube, on any podcast streaming platform. This has been one of your co-hosts, Ian.
I'm your other co-host, Jordan.
And thank you for tuning in today on The Watch Booth. Share, like, subscribe, hit that bell. Bing! To get a notification every time we drop some content. Thank you for joining us today on The Watch Booth, and peace.
Me and my dogs on the front line. Me and my dogs on the front line. Be at your door when it's crunch time. Look, we at your door when it's crunch time. Risking it all to ease your mind. This all to ease your mind. This ain't a game, this is wartime. Look, homie, this wartime, yeah.